2015, a director that used to be amazing, quintessential action director, disappears and makes movies about a pig in New York. Pabe's adventures and stuff like that. And he returns and creates possibly the most bombastic, greatest action film ever created, arguably, called Mad Max. And I was talking about George Miller. George Miller's a great director until he directed all those pig movies.
What are you talking about? Those are great. You know, like Babe in the Big City?
Yeah, Babe in the Big City. Big Pig and Big Stupid City, that movie. And he returns and makes this amazing action film that is so simple. This is gonna be a gimmick with me, is how simple it is, because I have Neanderthal brain, and I just like simple actions, right? A story that is so simple, it's literally a line. It's a line that our lead character follows, says, oh shit, and goes back, all right? And it is a movie so packed full of action, so beautifully done, so good, that I strongly recommend it. Fast and Furious would say, we can't do that. That takes talent. Why this movie is so simple was, well, because it didn't start as a script. This movie started as storyboards. It started as storyboards, and you can tell in the storyboard, every single shot in that movie is a match cut because it cuts with the point of focus and the action at the same time. That's why I recommend Mad Max. Give it a watch. It's a huge, beautiful revival of a beautiful set of movies that you should watch as well.
2016. Everybody thought the world would end in 2012, but Google 2016 news, you'll be shocked. Anyway, a couple movies that I thought did something really interesting are, number one, 10 Cloverfield Lane. The Cloverfield first movie was really interesting, but they hit a crescendo and then a terrible dive down after the second movie, which is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Whose fault was it?
Oh, I don't know.
Whose fault was it, Keon?
Maybe he also had to do something with a couple other franchises that have the star in the name. Who knows? We know! 10 Cloverfield Lane came out of nowhere, really. It felt like a movie that didn't really belong to the Cloverfield franchise, but really fits in well. Because Cloverfield's about an apocalypse, and 10 Cloverfield Lane was shot as its own thing. I think it was called The Basement or The Shelter or something, but regardless, fits in really well. You have these people that are making the best of an apocalyptic situation, but you find out more and more that you can't trust everybody that's trying to help you. It's really fantastic in its way of hiding what's going on and people with different agendas. And in addition, another movie that really surprised me was The Big Short. It's a movie that takes something that was really horrible in American history, which was the housing market crash in 2008 and 2009, and puts it in a digestible way where you understand everything that was happening with it, gives you the perspective of certain characters that are trying to tell everyone and make sure that they know that this is going to happen and that they need to reconsider basically their entire financial decisions. And unfortunately, the thing that I really appreciate about this movie is that it's about all of these characters trying to get rich because of this terrible, terrible thing that happened. So even when they win, everyone else loses. It's the kind of ending where you feel empty because that's what really happened. This was a horrific thing that happened, and we can't celebrate it at the end of the movie because we're still seeing the bad parts of it. It really was poignant, and I really enjoyed that part of the movie. But my best movie of 2016 has to be Arrival. Not only does Amy Adams give an incredible performance, also Jeremy Renner. I didn't realize he could act that well, especially after seeing him in like some of the Marvel movies, but he's got some acting chops. It's the kind of movie that makes me really feel empowered as an editor because the entire movie not only was crafted in the edit, but the editing helps shape the narrative. And I don't want to spoil anything, but legitimately the way that it's edited kind of shapes your perspective of the story. And not only that, but it's basically retelling the Tower of Babel, where we as human beings need to communicate with each other, and if we can't do that right, then we're destined to have a lot of problems. Every time I watch it just makes me feel even better about not only being a human being, but communicating with people, and how the study of other languages and other cultures is really important. So that's 2016 in a nutshell. A lot of really desperate, weird kind of topics that are brought together in really interesting movies that are pretty surprising, so go give them a watch.
2017, here we go. A lot of good movies came out this year. A lot of good ones. I want to say that my brain wants to give it to Dunkirk for this year. But no, I'm gonna say no. Screw you, Dunkirk. Although I really liked Dunkirk a lot. I'm gonna have to give it to The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water is Guillermo del Toro's dream film to direct, I feel, because this is where we truly see all of his years of experience and his style of movie come together to make his personal masterpiece. At least that's how I feel. The story is about love. The story is about feeling so alone and secluded in this world that you somehow find relatability with a monster, this monster creature. You're willing to do anything for that creature because, well, they're practically you. They're beautiful in a way. They're beautiful in a way that only you would understand. This movie still makes me cry. I am so desensitized from movies nowadays because I've seen plenty of them. If you make me feel something that you meant to make me feel as a director, you immediately should win an Oscar. That's very cynical of me to say, isn't it?
That's how they get on Oscars. They sit you in a room, and whichever one makes you cry.
They sit me in a room and they say, whichever movie makes you cry gets the Oscar for Film of the Decade or whatever. Again, this movie is beautifully shot. The cinematography in it is amazing. It comes across as so whimsical and magical that it's really contrasted to a lot of the other films that came out that year. And that to me is why it's my movie for 2017. 2018, I want to say that this has to be one of the years that was truly inspirational. It just said, hey Alan, this is the type of movie you want to make, all right? And that's because of two films specifically. The first one is Ari Aster's Hereditary. The best way I can describe Hereditary is, imagine this, you're alone in this room. In this room, there's a small little table, and you're sitting on one end, and on the other end, there's a lunatic with a pen and a paper just poking holes on this paper all over the place, and you're like, dude, you're crazy, what the hell are you doing? And then halfway through, he stops, and he stares at you, puts his pencil down, and starts connecting the dots, showing this beautiful picture. That to me is what Hereditary is. Because the first half, it has all these crazy, like, what is all this? What are you trying to feed me here? And then halfway through, he's like, hey, remember that thing? Guess what? It's correlated to this, and that's correlated to that, and this is correlated. It's like, whoa, what? And all of it makes sense in its own context. I'm a huge fan of, like, tone. To me, a movie isn't anything if it doesn't have the correct tone. If an action movie doesn't come across as actiony, or if the movie just suddenly out of nowhere changes its tone and pace because, well, we want to show in this love interest, it's like, what? No. This movie just stays in this disgusting, dreadful, dramatic tone. It just grabs you and hooks to you. And that ending, my God, you would think it's like, no, this movie's about crazy people. And it's actually paranormal as well. It is so influential to me because I haven't felt that way in such a long time, since Alien and since The Exorcist. Words cannot describe this movie. Just please go watch it. Also, another movie that I really like this year, Mandy. By golly, Mandy is a true revenge story. Oh, also has Nicolas Cage in it, and possibly his greatest role since Con Air. And I really liked Con Air. Mandy is a revenge story. It involves this man who, like, you know, he works in the woods, he chops down trees, and his wife gets kidnapped by this cult. He goes off in this revenge spree, just massacring everybody that was involved in this. The way it's shot, the way that everything is so over the top and beautifully done, the neons, the crazy lights, it is so surreal, so cosmic, that again, it just hooks you and says, hey, this is not the world you're used to. This is a world where these things work this way for this reason, and you're gonna love it, okay? And the best part is all of this gore, all of this action, all of this horror in this movie, it's about love. It's about what you're willing to do for a loved one. And that is beautiful in a way, isn't it? Also, there's this scene where Nicolas Cage gets drunk in his underwear and starts screaming, and you can visually tell that the cameraman goes, whoa, where the cameraman backs away a little bit because, yikes, dude, going a little over the top there.
And to finish off this list, we have none other than the current year, 2019, where we have the best movie release. It's Cats again. I'm kidding. It's Dora the Explorer. I'm kidding. It's... What... Did good movies come out this year? I'm kidding. Some of the best movies, in my opinion, came out this year from our favorite director, Quentin Tarantino. We have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This movie fits his MO perfectly, that it is kind of a revenge fantasy retelling of a horrific event that mostly he would really care about the Sharon Tate murder. and that how to really work that around with different characters to shift it in a way that would be satisfying for us to watch. The ending is so amazing, so good, and oh my god, there's so many feet in this movie. Tarantino, we get it. It was a meme. Now the meme has run out of control and turned into this gross Cronenbergian monster. I mean, Jesus, when Sharon Tate's watching that movie and her feet are bigger than her head in the shot, like, we get it. But that's not the only movie that stood out this year. We also have Joker, which was a crazy reimagining of a character that we've all known over and over and over again, and we all thought could never really be reimagined after The Dark Knight and the incredible performance that Heath Ledger gave. But honestly, Joaquin Phoenix makes you empathize with this character that's horrible. He's doing horrific things, and it's all a product of the fact that at this time, in this period, he wasn't taken care of by anybody, especially in mental health and physically. And so when you see all of these things and this monster that he becomes, you can't really empathize because, oh my god, it's horrifying. What he does near the end is terrible, but you see the line that got him there, and how, like the Joker says, this one bad day was really preceded by years and years of a bad history. It's really, really amazing the way that they lay it out. And then finally, my two favorite movies, which are these art house, insane, crazy things, are number one, The Lighthouse. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson give career-defining performances in these movies. Willem Dafoe's, Alan and I will just be hanging out doing something and we'll just go, HARK! And it's funny every time, because the speech that, Alan's trying not to laugh right now because I said it. The speech that comes after that is so well executed that I legitimately can't tell if he himself is making it up, Willem Dafoe, or the character's making it up as he says it, but it's coming from somewhere deep inside, and it's so well performed. You need to see it. Just legitimately Google it. It doesn't spoil anything, but it's an incredible performance that you're just confused what he's doing. And Robert Pattinson, I didn't know he had it in him. This character that he embodies is so shrouded in mystery, and you're viewing the whole thing from his perspective, but there's always something a little bit beneath the skin that's just really unsettling. And so for both of them to be put in this confined space and to see what happens is so surreal and crazy. You need to see it just for the experience. And the last one is Parasite. This film actually won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and it absolutely deserves it. Bong Joon-ho does an incredible job. You might know him from the movie Okja or from the movie Snowpiercer, which both kind of have to do with political ideas, but this one really goes full force with all of its political subtext, and everything is about class struggle. And if you're on either sides of this class struggle, you can learn something really important from this movie. I legitimately empathize with most of the characters, but the people that you're following, these main characters, this main family, you want nothing more than for them to just achieve everything they want in life. And they're so crafty and smart that you really just want to see what happens next and how they work through this situation. It's so amazing, so endearing. We did a podcast on it, and legitimately, I could not stop thinking about it after the movie. I was speechless about how perfectly executed it was, and I have a really, really tough grading system when it comes to movies, but this one, in my opinion, got that perfect 10 out of 10. So please go give it a watch. If it's still in theaters, please go see it. That was quite the decade, my friend.
That was a crazy decade for film in general, I want to say. If you don't mind, I would like to add to 2019 Queen and Slim.
Ooh, yeah.
Queen and Slim is a good movie. It's one of those movies where the story is so compelling and just how dramatic and how, like, it shows the good and evil of just about everyone you know. It shows the good and evil in cops. It shows the good and evil in black people. It shows the good and evil in white people. It shows the good and evil in your family.
Jeez.
It shows the good and evil in everybody. Oof. But at the end of the day, it's the fantasy of true love. And it's just like,
I like that.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I want to add to my list of 2019, Avengers Infinity War. Did you know so many people fit in one movie?
But not enough people to fit in this frame. Because we're tightly packed.
So little did I know, Alan's way taller than me, so we're both sitting in chairs trying to get each other hyped.
Stop telling your secrets.
No. Did you know so many characters fit in one movie?
That's a lot of character.
Did you know 45-minute fight scene can be good? I was actually really surprised. Like at the very end, that
You
whole
know,
fight scene.
you know what couldn't fit
What?
was all that money into the producer's pockets. that was a tight fit, my friend.
Disney, you're making that moolah, making that chunk of change. But yeah, I hopefully you guys all maybe have seen a lot of these movies, but maybe you haven't, and this might give you an opportunity to go see some of the movies that you might not have in the past 10 years. I can't believe it. I can't believe 2010 was 10 years ago.
And the whole reason why we decided to make this video here is not just to showcase how pretentious we can be with movies and which ones we like and whatnot, but it's to start a conversation. A lot of these movies are influential to us, you know? It's what made us into what we want to make in the future. And we believe that everyone has those set of movies in this past decade or in general. We decided to share it because we would like to know what your guys' are. What influences you into like wanting to create art, into wanting to create your movies, into wanting to create in general?
And if you're not insane and you don't want to make movies, well, what movies did you enjoy this past decade? Like, what's your top 10 of the 10 years or your top whatever? What's the movies you liked? It's gotta be some. It's gotta be some in there.
Something.
Sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, whichever one.
Cats. Poorly rendered movie, Cats.
Had to fix it in post, Cats. After it came out. Had to fix the DCP and send it back out.
Gazooks.
Cats.
But yeah, again, happy holidays, Merry Crumble, Happy New Year, a happy decade coming up next.
Yeah.
And I guess a couple of our resolutions, I guess, is, you know, we want to keep on creating stuff. In the past the past 2 weeks or week and a half, although they may look like small numbers to a lot of people, growing from 200 subscribers to 500 now.
Crazy.
It's a little surreal and crazy for us. It's very assuring, and I am glad that people are enjoying our stuff. It's very heartwarming.
Best comment I've seen in a couple of the videos actually is just like, you guys don't have 1 million subs? It's like, oh my God. So we appreciate all of the love. We've gotten so much. The thing that I really like about our videos so far is all of the comments have more or less been opinions. Like, oh, I don't believe that, I don't like this, and it's usually about their opinions, and it's not, your videos are dumb, you're stupid, and not attacking people in the comments, but it's more or less been a discussion. We really appreciate that. Thank you guys for being civil human beings in the comments on YouTube.
Which is rare.
Like, legitimately, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and like that's like ultimately an end goal is to start a conversation between like why do we love this art so much? What compels us to wanting more of it? And we appreciate that from you guys, and we would like to continue it further on.
And so our resolutions for the next year are to bring in some people for different forms of filmmaking. Like, we have a lot of friends that are really talented in different styles of like the filmmaking work. So we have people that do makeup. We have people that are really good cinematographers and directors and VFX artists. So we want to bring them in, talk to them, and maybe see what makes them tick. And hopefully you didn't hate this video if you made it all this way. So please feel free to like or dislike if you disliked it. What didn't you like? If you liked it, what did you like? Please leave a comment below, and please consider subscribing. Oh my God, we'd really appreciate it if we could let's hit that 1 million. Smash that. Can we get to 1 million subs?
Can we get a couple
F's in chat?
I want to see an OK Boomer on the chat at least once.
I want to see a Baby Yoda in the chat. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and here's to another year.
1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. NSYNC.
Yeah.
Let's get back to work.
Yeah.
Hey, I bumped the mic.